Hey there, this is Hans with Danny Guth Real Estate, and this video I'm going to do today is going to be about things that you want to consider if you're thinking about moving to the Foothills. And the Foothills includes Evergreen, Conifer, Morrison, parts of Morrison, Pine, Bailey, anything a little bit west of Denver where you start living in a little bit higher elevation. And so I'm leaving my house right now, literally to the right, and I'm driving by my mailbox, and I'm going to show you how fast and easy it is for me to get to the highway. So leaving now, and I'm just going to chat a little bit about that. So when we moved here 20 something years ago, almost 30 years ago, which is hard to believe, I wanted to live really up high where there's tons of views, or the views are incredible, and we've got pretty good views, but I had to compromise. And so one of the things that I'm really happy that we compromised on, or that I compromised on, was living close to the highway. Something that I really appreciate is the ability to get to the highway and get to the store. So we're about 5 minutes from Safeway, which now sells beer and wine. It's kind of new this year. So if you forgot wine, you can get it really quickly and easy, or if you are making a recipe and you need to get to the store quickly and easily, you can do that. As opposed to some of the places that I'm going to point out to you here in a little bit that are a little bit further away, a little bit higher. So our elevation where we live is about 8,500 feet above sea level. So still quite a bit higher than Denver. There, I'm actually at the highway. I'm ready to get on the highway and I can go to the store from here. So some of the places are a lot higher up, and it's not just about the elevation itself or the time, but it's also about the driving experience. It's something that, so when we first came out here, we had a 1-year-old at the time, and one of the places we went to look at caused vomit to occur because the road is so windy. And so I'll show you that here in a little bit. So something to consider is how far away from the highway, which also impacts how far away you are from Denver. You can still live close to the highway and still be, a vastly different experience than city living. You don't have to live that high up, but if you want that privacy and you don't mind that kind of a drive, I'll show you that as well. All right, so I am doing a real world example here. So I literally drove to one of my son's friends, one of his best friends, who lives at the top of what is known as Conifer Mountain, and I'll do a map and I'll show you this later on, but I'm going to literally drive and leave. I was going to try and get some views, but you got to actually go all the way up to the house to get the views. So just trust me, the views are incredible. They're spectacular, really. But here's the deal. You got to get up here. And as I'm driving down, I notice that almost all of the speed limit signs, I'm pretty sure are all 25 miles an hour. And so maybe you're like me and you're like, well, I just won't go 25. It's a suggested speed. Here's the deal. You're inevitably going to get behind somebody that decides that that is the speed limit to go, if that, and you got to factor that in. And just the drive and the wear and tear in your car. Also, you're not seeing this, but because we're at about 10,000 feet here, there's a lot more snow. Tons of snow still on the road. Another thing to factor in is this is county maintained. It's not paved, what I'm on right now. I'm about to get to paved highway, but it's gravel, basically a gravel composite that is county maintained, so that is something that you really want to factor in. But like I said, there's just a ton more snow, and so I'm going to stop talking. I'm just going to do the drive down. I wanted to keep track of the time. So it was 1:54 when I left. By the way, I'm doing this, and with the snow on the ground, it's either the first or second day of spring. I can't remember now. 2023. So, all right, it's time to catch the drive, and you'll see the fun of the drive. Here's a quick shot of the views before we continue on our way. Can't really see them that much, but they're good. Some of the best. I mean, from up here you can see Denver, you can see many of the 14ers. 14ers refers to, if you don't know familiar what that means, the 14,000 foot peaks that Colorado has. I can't remember what the number is, some 50 plus peaks that are 14,000 feet or higher. Colorado also has, I think, over 13,000 foot peaks. I think I read somewhere that they couldn't even count them all. That's how many there are. And so definitely views are spectacular. From up here you can see Denver and many of those 14,000 foot peaks that are nearby, and 13,000 foot peaks. But all right, here's the drive. All right, we're almost at the bottom, and it took about 12 minutes to go from the top to the bottom. I'll do the mileage and figure that out here in a little bit. But that's something to consider. Also factor in if it just recently snowed and the roads are icy, you know what that's going to do in terms of commute time and just the concern about the snow on the highway. It's something to factor in as well. And so that is, and here's the highway. We're down to where the highway actually is. And from here, it's about 2 minutes to get to Safeway or King Soopers. A couple more minutes to get to King Soopers, two of our supermarkets that are here. But again, this is just something that you really want to consider when you're moving here. There's plenty of people that have moved here in the summer because they get enamored with the views and how beautiful it is, and then they leave the next spring because the winter was so challenging for them, and the commute is so challenging. So anyway, I'll fill in the other details here in the rest of the video. So kind of in summary here, this video was to just kind of highlight the challenges that can exist even if you live in Conifer, you can live in different parts of Conifer. You live in Evergreen, you can live in different parts of Evergreen, and accessibility to and from stores and restaurants, or even just getting down to Denver. If you need to commute down there, things you got to factor in are how far away off the highway are you going to live, and what's that road that gets to your house going to be like, especially in challenging weather conditions, which we get plenty of snow here. This has been quite a snowy season for us here. So just some things to think about. I'm on the highway right now, Highway 285, which is the main artery from Denver out to Fairplay, and you can get to Breckenridge this way as well. But here's the road that I turn off to get to my house, and you'll see how easy it is to get to where I live, and I love it. Been here, like I said, almost 30 years. So here we are, turning off the highway, going past my neighbors. And as I was coming down that mountain, I was lucky. I didn't run into anybody going slow. I think I averaged about 35 to 40 miles an hour, and that took me 12 minutes. So you can do the math. If I get stuck behind somebody going 20 miles an hour, what that would be like. So as you can see, my road is not paved. It is that composite gravel that they do smooth out seasonally. Sometimes it's worse than others. Right now it's not too bad, I guess. Definitely been worse. But it is county maintained, so we don't have to worry about that. And here we are at my house. And I'm going to stop and get the mail and get this video uploaded.